Money responds to recognition. That statement alone holds more power than entire libraries of financial advice, because beneath all the numbers, all the strategies, all the effort, there is a spiritual truth. Money is not just currency, it is energy. Energy cannot be ignored, dismissed, or denied. Energy always seeks direction, and if you do not recognize it, if you do not give it attention, if you do not welcome it, it will flow elsewhere. What you recognize grows stronger in your life, and what you fail to recognize quietly slips away. The world is full of people who work tirelessly, who plan endlessly, who sweat and strive day after day, and yet money seems to avoid them. They think their problem is lack of education, lack of connections, or lack of opportunity, but the real problem is lack of recognition. They refuse to see money as something alive, something responsive, something that answers the one who calls it by name. Recognition is a law. Whatever you recognize multiplies. Recognize beauty and you see more of it. Recognize kindness and it shows up at every corner. Recognize love and it finds you in unexpected ways. Recognition is magnetic, because it is not passive. It is an act of honor, an act of agreement, an act of spiritual consent. When you recognize something, you are telling the universe, this has a place in my life. I see you. I welcome you. I call you mine. Money is no exception to this law. When you recognize money not with fear, not with resentment, not with shame, but with gratitude and clarity, it begins to flow toward you. For money cannot resist the pull of recognition. Think about the opposite for a moment. What happens when you fail to recognize money? You speak as if it is never enough. You mutter about bills as if they are curses. You see prices and instantly tighten your chest. You look at your wallet and call it empty. All of this is a form of denial, a refusal to recognize money's presence even in small amounts. And because you do not honor the little, the greater does not appear. The universe is exact. It does not pour abundance into a vessel that curses the drops. Recognition is the preparation for overflow. If you cannot bless the coins in your pocket, how will you ever call forth the rivers of wealth waiting to meet you? Recognition is more than noticing. It is naming. To recognize money is to give it place in your speech. Speak to money as if it hears you, for it does. Say, money, I see you. Money, I welcome you. Money, you are free to flow into my life in perfect ways. Do not underestimate the power of those words. When you speak them, you are not talking to thin air. You are aligning yourself with the spiritual current that governs supply. You are declaring yourself open, receptive, and ready. You are saying to the universe, I recognize money as my ally, not my enemy. I recognize money as a servant, not a master. I recognize money as welcome in my life. That shift alone will cause opportunities, ideas, and resources to appear where you once saw only walls. Recognition is gratitude in motion. Every time you touch money, bless it. Every time you spend it, thank it for circulating and returning multiplied. Every time you receive it, even in the smallest measure, recognize its presence as proof that more is possible. Recognition keeps the door open. Imagine someone who gives you a gift but you never thank them, never acknowledge it, never even look them in the eye. Would they want to give you more? Of course not. Money is the same. If you treat it as invisible, unworthy of notice, or as something dirty and unwanted, why would it rush into your life? But when you smile at it, bless it, and recognize its arrival, it feels at home with you. Recognition builds relationship, and relationship produces increase. Some people believe it is wrong to talk to money. They think it is superstitious, even foolish. But these same people spend hours talking about lack. They repeat phrases like, I can't afford this, or money is hard to come by, as if those are sacred truths. If words have power and they do, then why waste them denying money's presence instead of summoning it by name? Recognition through speech is not foolish, it is wise. It shifts your focus from lack to supply, from fear to faith, from denial to declaration. When you declare, money, you are welcome in my life, you are not worshiping money, you are simply aligning your words with the law of recognition. Do not confuse recognition with obsession. To recognize money is not to chase it desperately. Chasing produces resistance. Recognition is calm, confident, and commanding. It is saying, I know money hears me, and I know it answers. Recognition is not begging, it is commanding with respect. Recognition is not idolizing, it is welcoming with authority. Recognition is not desperate longing, it is confident assurance. When you truly recognize money as responsive, you stop worrying about how it will appear, and instead focus on speaking and acting in alignment with its flow. Money responds to recognition because recognition is energy, and energy always attracts energy of the same kind. If you recognize money with joy, you draw joyful financial experiences. If you recognize money with gratitude, you draw abundant streams of provision. If you recognize money with fear, you draw fearful financial experiences. If you recognize money with resentment, you draw difficulties and loss. The universe mirrors back whatever recognition you give. That is why changing your recognition changes your reality. Speak to money as a friend, and it behaves like one. Speak to it as an enemy, and it will fight you. Speak to it as absent, and it will vanish. speak to it as present, and it will stay. This is not merely theory. Look around at the lives of those who prosper. They treat money differently. They respect it, they recognize it, they speak of it as if it belongs with them. They do not shrink when talking about wealth, they expand. They do not sigh when money is mentioned, they smile. They do not call themselves broke, they call themselves blessed, even when their accounts are small. Recognition creates atmosphere, and atmosphere creates manifestation. Prosperous people have cultivated an atmosphere where money feels acknowledged, appreciated, and invited. That is why it flows to them so naturally. Recognition requires consistency. You cannot bless money one day and curse it the next. You cannot summon it with your words in the morning and reject it with fear at night. Recognition must become your daily practice, your unshakable stance. Every time your mind drifts to lack, pull it back to recognition. Every time you feel fear, speak words of welcome. Every time you handle money, honor it with gratitude. Make recognition your rhythm, and money will make abundance its rhythm in your life. Money responds to recognition because recognition shifts you from a state of begging into a state of authority. Recognition is ownership in advance. When you say, "Money, I recognize you in my life," you are claiming what belongs to you by divine right. You are not waiting to see money before you recognize it, you are recognizing it so that it appears. That is faith. Faith calls things that are not yet visible as though they already exist. Recognition is faith in action, and faith is the language money understands. So if you desire more prosperity, stop ignoring money. Stop treating it like a stranger. Stop acting as though it has no place in your spiritual life. Recognize it, call it, bless it, welcome it, speak to it by name and tell it where to go. Tell it to pay your debts. Tell it to open doors. Tell it to arrive in perfect timing. Tell it to flow freely. Tell it to serve the good in your life. Recognition gives money instruction, and money obeys instruction. Remember this truth until it is etched in your soul. Money responds to recognition. If you recognize it with love, it will love you back. If you recognize it with clarity, it will come with precision. If you recognize it with joy, it will arrive with laughter. Money is not against you, it is waiting for you. It is listening for your words, your welcome, your recognition. Do not let it pass you by because you were silent. Do not let it escape because you refused to speak. Do not let it vanish because you called it evil. Instead, rise today and say with confidence, "Money, I recognize you. You are free to flow into my life now, in perfect and abundant ways." And when you do, watch how doors open, watch how needs are met, watch how provision arrives in forms you never imagined. Recognition unlocks the flow. Recognition keeps the channel open. Recognition transforms scarcity into abundance. Money responds to recognition, always, without exception, without delay. There is a hidden truth about money that few ever dare to explore. The world teaches us to chase it, complain about it, or whisper of it with fear. Yet the secret that separates those who live in struggle from those who live in overflow is simple: money must be summoned by name. Money is not a stranger wandering the earth without ears. It listens. It responds. It obeys the voice of the one who knows how to call it. The first rare secret is this: money responds to recognition. Most people treat money as if it were an inanimate object, something that has no spirit, no vibration, no will to move. But everything in this universe carries energy, and energy is always responsive. When you ignore money, resist it, fear it, or treat it as an enemy, you push it away. Yet when you recognize it, bless it, and speak directly to it, you call it forth. Money loves recognition because recognition is permission. When you recognize money as a divine tool, you open the gates for it to flow to you. Many stumble at this because they believe that to summon money is materialistic or even unspiritual. They believe talking to money is beneath them, as if money is too worldly to deserve attention. But in truth, refusing to recognize money is what keeps them bound in lack. Imagine a friend standing outside your door, waiting to be invited in. If you never call their name, if you never acknowledge their presence, they cannot enter. Money is no different. It is waiting, listening, seeking recognition. Until you summon it, it cannot serve you. Money must be treated as a willing ally, not a hostile stranger. Too many speak of money as if it were a cruel taskmaster. Money is hard to get. Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford it. These phrases poison the atmosphere of prosperity. If you spoke about a friend with such criticism, would they remain close to you? Money, too, has ears for honor and dishonor. When you curse it, belittle it, or mock it, you push it away. But when you call it good, when you treat it as a friend and ally, it draws near. Money desires to serve those who honor it. It is not hostile, it is helpful. It is not against you, it is for you. Complaints about money repel it, while blessings attract it. This is a law as sure as gravity. Think of a time when you received money, but immediately complained it was not enough. That complaint closed the door to further blessings. Now think of a time when you received a small sum but blessed it, gave thanks for it, and called it good. That gratitude multiplied the flow. Money is drawn to an atmosphere of appreciation. Every coin in your hand, Every note in your wallet, every transfer into your account should be blessed. Say to it, you are welcome here. You are multiplying here. You are free to grow in my life. That blessing opens the floodgates for more. Summoning money by name is not greed, it is alignment with divine law. Greed is rooted in fear and hoarding, but true summoning is rooted in faith and purpose. When you call money by name, you are not asking it to serve your selfishness, you are commanding it to fulfill its higher purpose in your life. Money is designed to circulate, to bless, to build, to uplift. By summoning it, you are simply placing yourself in agreement with the law of supply. You are not demanding from others. You are aligning with the abundance already woven into creation. The law of recognition governs prosperity. What you honor, you draw closer. You cannot ignore something and expect it to increase in your life. This is true of people, opportunities, relationships, and most certainly money. If you recognize money as a divine instrument, if you treat it with respect and dignity, it will flow more freely to you. Recognition is magnetic. To recognize is to honor, and honor always brings increase. Money is a servant, not a master. This is the great reversal that so many never understand. Too many are enslaved to money, chasing it, fearing it, bowing to it, or allowing it to dictate their choices. But money was never designed to rule you. It was designed to serve you. When you summon it by name, you remind it of its place. You declare, money, you are not my master, you are my servant. You are here to work for good, to serve purpose, to uplift and expand. This shift breaks the chains of fear and restores rightful order. Vague wishing produces vague results, while clear naming produces exact manifestation. A farmer does not walk into a field and say, I hope something grows here. He plants seeds with intention, corn, wheat, or grapes, and expects to see that exact harvest. So it is with money. Do not say, I hope I have enough. Instead say, money, I call forth $10,000 for this business. I call forth $500 to clear this bill. I call forth the resources for this home, this trip, this project. When you name it clearly, money knows where to go. Vague words scatter results. Clear words create clear manifestation. Bills and debts should be spoken over with authority, not with fear. Many tremble when they open envelopes or view balances. They sigh, complain, or panic. Yet this very energy multiplies debt. Instead, look at every bill and declare, money, you are here to pay this in full. Money, I summon you to this account, to this balance, to this need. Speak with authority, for money is a servant and it must obey. Never bow to a number written on paper. That number is only waiting for your voice of command. Calling money forth requires confidence, not begging or chasing. You are not a beggar at the door of the universe. You are an heir of abundance. Begging implies lack of authority. Chasing implies money is running from you. But money is not running, it is waiting. Stand tall, speak boldly, and declare, money, come to me now. Appear in perfect ways, through channels seen and unseen. Confidence is the language money understands. It does not answer fear, it answers faith. Your tongue is a magnet, your words set wealth in motion. Every sentence you speak about money is either pulling it toward you or pushing it away. I am broke is a magnet for lack. I never have enough is a magnet for shortage. But money is always appearing for me, pulls provision into your path. Money flows to me freely and abundantly, sends wealth in your direction. The tongue has power. When you summon money by name with your words, you activate the law of attraction in its highest form. Those who summon money boldly by name never walk in lack again. This is the rare prosperity secret. Few practice it because few believe money can hear. But those who dare, those who stand boldly, those who call it forth daily with confidence, they never remain in poverty. They walk in provision, because they have mastered the law of recognition, the law of command, the law of words. They have learned that money is not an enemy, not a master, but a willing servant, ready to move wherever it is summoned. So today, let the fear of speaking about money fall away, let the shame dissolve. Stand boldly and say, money, I summon you by name. You are welcome in my life. You are multiplying in my hands. You serve the good in my world. Speak it with confidence. Speak it with faith. Speak it until your reality bends to your words. For money has always been listening, waiting for the sound of your call. And now you know the rare prosperity secret. If you want money to move, you must summon it by name. Money must be treated as a willing ally, not a hostile stranger. This single truth, when accepted deep into the heart, has the power to rewrite the entire script of one's financial destiny. Too often, people live their lives with an unconscious hostility toward money. They speak of it as if it were an enemy, chase it as if it were a fugitive, or resent those who have it as though wealth were a crime. Yet here lies the paradox. What you resent cannot come close to you, what you fear cannot stay with you, and what you treat as a stranger will never become a friend. Think of money as a person. If someone constantly criticizes you, calls you names, declares that you are evil, and mistrusts your presence, would you want to linger around them? Would you feel welcome in their company? Of course not. Money behaves in the same way. It gravitates toward those who speak of it with honor, respect, and openness. It distances itself from those who slander it or chase it with desperation. This is why so many hard-working souls labor day and night yet find themselves empty-handed. They are not poor because money is absent from the world. They are poor because they have treated money as a hostile stranger, and in doing so, they have unconsciously pushed it away. Money is not wicked. Money is not cruel. Money is not the enemy. Money is simply energy that flows into the hands of those who invite it as an ally, as a partner in creating good. When you shift your mindset to treat money as a friend who desires to help you, you unlock doors that were once closed. Your language changes. Your energy shifts. You begin to see opportunities where once you saw obstacles. Instead of saying, "I can't afford this," you declare, "Money is finding its way to cover this." Instead of fearing bills, you bless the money that will pay them. Instead of dreading the arrival of expenses, you affirm that supply will meet demand because money is your ally, not your adversary. Imagine standing in a field with a horse by your side. If you tug at its reins with fear, yank at it, shout at it, or treat it harshly, that horse will resist. But if you approach with calm authority, stroke its mane, speak with clarity, and guide it gently, it will walk with you, carry your load, and serve you faithfully. Money operates in the same rhythm. It does not respond to panic, anger, or desperation. It responds to calm command, confident respect, and loving recognition. There is a spiritual law hidden in plain sight. What you recognize, you magnetize. What you bless, you increase. What you curse, you repel. If you curse money by calling it dirty, by sneering at those who have it, or by repeating phrases like, "Money is the root of all problems," you push it away. But when you recognize money as a divine tool, a willing ally, and a servant of higher good, you draw it toward you with irresistible force. The tragedy of many lives is that they have unknowingly signed a silent contract of hostility with money. They grow up hearing phrases like, "We're not made of money," "Money doesn't grow on trees," or "Rich people are greedy," and without realizing it, they internalize these ideas. Then, as adults, they find themselves struggling and wonder why prosperity feels so elusive. The truth is simple: they have been treating money as a stranger who cannot be trusted. And money, like any intelligent force, responds to the way it is treated. But the moment you shift your approach, the moment you decide to treat money as a loyal friend rather than a hostile stranger, a transformation begins. Opportunities appear where none existed. The same job you once saw as limited suddenly reveals hidden channels of income. The business idea that seemed too risky blossoms into a profitable stream. Even unexpected blessings arrive, refunds, gifts, promotions, or opportunities you never anticipated. Why? Because your energy has changed. Because you are no longer hostile toward the very thing you seek. Consider a garden. If you plant seeds but resent the soil, refuse to water the ground, or constantly curse the weather, will your plants grow? No. Growth requires partnership. You must treat the soil as an ally, nurture it, bless it, and work with it. Money operates with the same logic. It is the soil in which your dreams can grow. If you bless it, honor it, and handle it with respect, it will multiply. If you scorn it, fear it, or treat it like a thief in the night, it will wither and flee. Every great financial transformation begins with this inner shift. It is not about sudden windfalls or chance luck. It is about alignment. When your heart, mind, and words align to treat money as an ally, doors swing wide open. You stop fearing the lack and start expecting the flow. You stop speaking of limitation and start speaking of provision. You stop asking, "Where will the money come from?" and start declaring, "Money is finding its way to me now." Do not underestimate the power of your words in this process. Language is the bridge between thought and reality. When you say, "I never have enough," you sign a decree of lack. When you say, "Money comes easily and frequently," you open the gates of abundance. The tongue is a magnet, and money listens to how it is addressed. If you talk to it as a stranger, it will stay away. If you welcome it as a trusted ally, it will come closer. Some may ask, but is it not dangerous to love money? The answer is clear: it is not love for money that corrupts, but the fear and misuse of it. Loving money as a servant, as an ally, as a tool for good, is not corruption. It is wisdom. You were not placed on this earth to suffer lack. You were placed here to express the fullness of life, and money is one of the instruments that allow that expression. With money, you can build, create, bless, and extend good to others. Without it, even the noblest intentions may remain trapped in limitation. So how do you treat money as a willing ally? Begin by speaking to it with kindness and authority. When money comes into your hands, bless it. Say, "You are welcome here. You multiply in my life. You serve divine good. When you pay bills, do not grumble. Say, "I am grateful that money flows through me to keep these things in order." More will return multiplied. When you think about your financial future, do not fear. Say, "Money is my ally. It goes before me to prepare the way. It stands beside me to support me. It follows me to sustain me." The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. Soon, You stop treating money as a guest who overstays its welcome and start treating it as a lifelong companion. You begin to feel its presence not as something scarce, but as something abundant, flowing, and faithful. You recognize that money has never been the enemy. The only enemy was the belief that it was a stranger you could not trust. Remember, this scarcity is not an external condition, but an internal perception. Wealth is not a number, but a relationship. If you build a relationship of trust with money, it will stay, grow, and serve. If you build a relationship of fear and hostility, it will vanish like a guest who knows it is unwanted. The choice has always been yours. Therefore, summon money with confidence, bless it with gratitude, and welcome it with honor. Stop treating it as a hostile stranger and begin treating it as a willing ally. For the moment you shift your treatment of money, money shifts its treatment of you. And when money becomes your ally, prosperity ceases to be a dream and becomes your daily reality. Money is one of the greatest mysteries of human life. People chase it, fear it, dream of it, complain about it, and yet rarely stop to understand the true nature of it. They look at money as pieces of paper or numbers in a bank account, as if wealth is nothing more than math on a screen. But money is far more than digits and dollars. Money is movement, money is energy, money is vibration. Money is spirit clothed in material form. It responds, it obeys, and it answers to the one who knows how to call it forth. This is the rare prosperity secret. You must summon money by name. Money responds to recognition. That is the first law. What you recognize, you energize. What you acknowledge begins to flow into your world. If you treat money like a ghost, never speaking of it, never facing it, never calling it by name, then it will act like a ghost, vanishing from your life. But when you recognize it, when you speak to it with authority, when you treat it as something alive and present, it begins to take shape. It begins to arrive. Just as a friend comes closer when you call their name, money comes closer when you call it with certainty. This is why words carry power. The universe itself was created by words, by sound, by vibration. Light was spoken into being. Order was summoned out of chaos. Naming is creation. If you do not name it, you cannot command it. If you do not declare it, you cannot manifest it. Many people sit in silence, wishing for prosperity in their hearts but refusing to give voice to it. But a silent wish has no vibration. A thought unspoken remains weak. The moment you speak, the moment you call money by name, the vibration begins. And the vibration is the key that opens the door. Money must be treated as a willing ally, not as a hostile stranger. Most people act as if money is their enemy, as if it is running from them, as if it doesn't want to be near them. But money is not your enemy. It is a servant waiting for orders. Imagine for a moment a loyal horse, strong and capable, standing idle, waiting for a rider. If the rider never mounts, the horse never moves. If the rider acts afraid of it, the horse stays still. The horse is waiting for confidence. In the same way, money waits for recognition. It waits for you to acknowledge it as your ally, your helper, your servant in building good things. Treat it like a stranger, and it will stay away. Treat it like a trusted friend, and it will run to your side. Summoning money by name is not greed. It is agreement with divine law. The law of creation says that what you call forth with clarity must answer. The law of abundance says that supply is infinite, waiting for the right demand. When you call for money with boldness, you are not being greedy, you are aligning yourself with the structure of the universe. Greed is wanting more than you are willing to use for good. But commanding money is simply taking your rightful inheritance. You are not stealing, you are not begging. You are standing in authority and saying, money, come forth. You belong here, you serve a purpose in my life. The law of recognition governs prosperity. Whatever you honor, you draw closer. Whatever you ignore, you push away. If you honor health, your body becomes stronger. If you honor wisdom, your mind becomes sharper. If you honor relationships, love deepens. And when you honor money, money answers. To honor money is not to worship it. It is to respect it, to treat it with clarity, to recognize its purpose. When you honor it by summoning it, by managing it, by blessing it, you give it a place in your life. And the moment you give it a place, it fills that place. Remember always, money is a servant, not a master. Many suffer because they reverse the order. They let money master them. They bow to money. They chase it, fear it, idolize it, and allow it to dictate every decision. But money was never designed to be a master. Money is a tool. Money is a worker. Money was meant to obey you, not to control you. You must shift your thinking. You are not under money's command. Money is under your command. When you summon it, you are simply giving an order to a servant who has been waiting to fulfill your needs. Vague wishing produces vague results, but clear naming produces exact manifestation. This is why so many say, I want more money, and then find a single coin on the ground. They asked, but not with clarity. They named nothing specific, so the result was vague. But when you name your desire exactly, I call forth the exact amount I need for this bill. I summon the money to purchase this home. I declare funds for this business venture. You give money a target. You give your words direction. You give the universe a blueprint, and when the blueprint is clear, the structure must rise. Bills and debts should not be feared. They should be spoken over with authority. Too many people tremble when they see a bill, curse when they see a debt, or hide from financial obligations. But bills and debts are not enemies. They are simply instructions waiting for fulfillment. Instead of shrinking in fear, speak over them. Money, come to me now to pay this bill in full. Money, appear to clear this debt with ease. The paper in your hand is not a punishment, it is a summons. And when you speak with confidence, the money arrives because you have called it to meet its assignment. Calling money forth requires confidence, not begging or chasing. Money does not respond to desperation. Begging is weak vibration, it says, I don't believe I am worthy. Chasing is lack vibration, it says, I believe money is running from me. But commanding is authority, it says, I know money belongs here and I call it by name. Think of a dog loyal to its master. If the master begs, the dog is confused. If the master chases, the dog runs away. But when the master calls by name, the dog comes. Money is no different. It listens to authority, not desperation. Your tongue is a magnet. Your words set wealth in motion. Every phrase you speak either attracts or repels. Every declaration either calls money forth or pushes it away. When you say, I am always broke, you create magnetism for lack. When you say, money comes to me easily and frequently, you create magnetism for flow. The tongue is the rudder that steers the ship of your financial destiny. You cannot steer toward abundance while speaking lack. If you want money to obey, train your tongue to summon it. And here is the final rare secret: those who summon money boldly by name never walk in lack again. They may face challenges, they may see temporary gaps, but lack cannot remain where authority is present. Money cannot resist the one who calls it with faith and clarity. Just as light cannot resist the command, let there be light. Money cannot resist the command, money, come forth now. Once you master the art of summoning, you step into a new life, one where money flows freely, faithfully, abundantly. Not because you are greedy, but because you have aligned yourself with divine law. So let today be the day you stop whispering about money in fear. Let today be the day you stop treating it as an enemy, a stranger, or a master. Let today be the day you recognize it, name it, and summon it with boldness. Stand in authority, speak with clarity, declare with faith, say to money, you are welcome here, you belong here, you serve my good, and watch as money obeys, for money is not silent, not distant, not stubborn, it is alive, it is listening, and it answers to the one who dares to call it by name. This is the rare prosperity secret hidden in plain sight, waiting for those with courage to practice it. Few will understand it, fewer will apply it. But those who do will never walk in lack again, for money cannot resist the one who summons it by name. There is a hidden secret in life that few people ever discover, though it sits in plain sight, waiting for the heart that is ready to receive it. That secret is this: summoning money by name is not greed, it is agreement with divine law. For too long, people have lived in shame, fear, or confusion about money, as though the very act of calling it forth dishonors the spirit. Yet nothing could be further from the truth. To summon money is not to betray faith, but to live in alignment with it. It is not to bow to materialism, but to command material to serve the spirit. When you begin to understand that every word you speak is energy, you awaken to the truth that life is designed to respond to your declarations. Just as light appeared when the Creator said, "Let there be light," so does money appear when you call it into being with clarity and authority. Words are not empty sounds, they are vibrations that shape the unseen into the seen. When you summon money by name, you are not asking for a favor, you are enforcing a law that already exists. Think of it this way: a farmer plants a seed in the ground, and then calls forth the harvest by watering, tending, and expecting it. He does not apologize for wanting wheat, nor does he call it greed to desire bread for his table. He recognizes the law of growth, so too must you recognize the law of prosperity. Money is simply the seed of exchange. It is not holy or unholy. It is neutral, awaiting your recognition, awaiting your call. The tragedy is that most people never summon money directly. They hope for it vaguely. They wish for it quietly. They worry about it endlessly. But they never stand with authority and declare, "Money, come forth into my life now. Appear in the perfect way, in the perfect time, serving the perfect purpose." Instead, they beg, or worse, they curse. They call themselves broke. They call their finances hopeless. And by their very words, they build walls that keep prosperity far from them. To summon money is not greed, because money itself is not the goal. Money is a channel, a vessel, a means by which greater good flows into your life and into the lives of others. When you call it forth, you are not saying, "I desire piles of paper for myself." You are saying, "I choose to live in agreement with the law of supply. I choose to make room for expansion, generosity, creativity, and impact." Money in the hands of the righteous is multiplied good. It feeds the hungry, shelters the poor, funds the dream, and sustains the vision. To summon money is not to hoard, it is to circulate. It is to allow the current of abundance to move through you. Now some will resist this truth. They will say, but money corrupts. No, my friend, money only reveals. If greed exists in the heart, money will magnify it. If love and generosity exist in the heart, money will magnify them as well. The law does not change because of human misuse. Fire can burn or warm. Water can drown or refresh. Electricity can destroy or illuminate. Yet we do not curse fire, water, or electricity. We learn to master them, to summon them for good. So it is with money. Summoning money by name is a test of faith. It requires you to step beyond fear and superstition, beyond the cultural lies that tell you it is unspiritual to call forth provision. The truth is, your voice is the bridge between heaven and earth. Your words are the key that unlocks divine order. If you cannot say the name of money without shame, then you cannot rule over it. You will always be ruled by it. But when you speak to money with authority, you take your rightful position as one who commands creation, not one who cowers before it. Consider this: every relationship is built on recognition. If you never call a friend by name, if you never acknowledge their presence, if you never invite them into your home, why should they linger near you? Money, too, requires recognition. When you summon it by name, you are saying, I know you exist. I know you are meant for me. I know you have a purpose in my life. That simple act of acknowledgement changes everything, for it brings money out of the shadows of fear and into the light of divine partnership. Think of the difference between a vague hope and a clear command. The one who vaguely hopes says, I wish I had more money someday. The one who commands says, money, appear now to meet this bill, to support this vision, to free this life. The vague hope drifts like smoke. The clear command strikes like lightning, and lightning always finds its mark. This is why so many spiritual teachers have said that your words create your world. You cannot summon money timidly and expect it to run to you. You must summon it boldly, with a voice that carries authority. And when you do, you are not practicing greed. You are practicing order. You are not stepping out of faith. You are stepping into it. Because true faith does not whisper and doubt, it declares and expects. Now let us imagine for a moment that money is a servant waiting at the edge of your life. It does not force itself upon you. It does not intrude where it is not wanted. It waits for your command. If you treat it with disdain, it will retreat. If you call it evil, it will hide. But if you summon it by name and give it an assignment, it will rush to obey. This is the rare prosperity secret. Money is neutral, but it is also obedient. It goes where it is sent. It responds to the voice that knows its authority. But here is the warning: summoning money is not enough if you do not also direct it. To summon without purpose is to gather without order. You must tell money what to do. You must give it a mission. You must command it to serve good. When you say, money, come to me, also say, money, go forth to bless. Money, flow to fund this vision. Money, multiply in my hands that I may multiply good in the world. Then you will see that money is not your master but your servant, not your enemy but your ally, not your idol but your instrument. This is agreement with divine law, for the law of supply says there is no lack, only flow. The river of provision never dries, but men and women build dams of fear with their words. They curse themselves with language of lack. They sabotage themselves with declarations of poverty. But when you change your words, you change your flow. When you summon money by name, you break the dam. The river rushes in, and what was once a desert becomes a garden. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever noticed how children speak of money? They do not say, money is hard. They say, I want money to buy this toy. They say it simply, directly, without shame. They summon by name without knowing the power of what they do. And often, money appears, through gifts, through parents, through unexpected ways. Why? Because they have not yet learned the fear and shame that adults attach to money. They still live in purity of command. The secret is to return to that clarity, not childishness but childlikeness. To speak without hesitation. To summon without shame. Some of you may feel resistance rising in you even now. You may say, this feels strange. How can I talk to money? But my friend, you already do. Every time you say, I can't afford that, you are talking to money. Every time you say, money never stays with me, you are talking to money. Every time you sigh at your bills and say, this is too much, you are talking to money. The difference is, you have been summoning it in the wrong direction. You have been commanding it to leave. You have been sending it away by name. So why not reverse the current? Why not say, money, I welcome you. Money, you belong here. Money, you are my servant, and you flow to me in perfect ways. You are already in conversation with money. The question is, what are you commanding it to do? Summoning money by name is not greed. It is the language of alignment. It is stepping into agreement with the laws that govern abundance. It is recognizing that you are not a beggar in this universe, but a commander. You are not a victim of lack, but a master of supply. You do not chase money, you summon it. You do not bow before it, you rule over it. And when you stand in that authority, lack dissolves. Fear melts and the current of prosperity flows like a mighty river. So I say to you today, let go of the fear. Release the shame. Abandon the lies that told you money was too worldly to be called by name. Stand tall. Open your mouth. Summon it with confidence. Tell it where to appear. Tell it what to do. And watch as the law of supply responds unfailingly, for it cannot deny a voice that knows its authority. Remember this truth and seal it in your heart. Summoning money by name is not greed, it is agreement with divine law. And those who live in agreement with divine law never walk in lack again. The law of recognition governs prosperity. What you honor, you draw closer. This is one of the rarest truths in the realm of abundance, yet it is also the simplest. Life is constantly reflecting back to you what you value, what you magnify, what you speak of with reverence. Whatever you consistently recognize and honor begins to increase in your life. Whatever you dismiss, ignore, or curse will slowly fade away. This is why prosperity is never only about working harder, never only about chasing opportunities, and never only about saving or investing. It is first about recognition, about seeing money, wealth, and abundance as living energies that respond to acknowledgement. Most people walk through life blinded to the good that is already present. They say they want wealth, yet when small amounts of money show up, they shrug and say, "It's not enough." They desire increase, yet when a door of opportunity opens, they complain about the effort it will take. They long for prosperity, yet when someone else is blessed, they criticize or feel envy rather than honor the proof of abundance in their midst. They do not realize that what they fail to recognize cannot remain. When you fail to honor money, money loses interest in you. When you fail to honor prosperity, prosperity quietly leaves your circle. The law is exact: what you recognize and give thanks for multiplies, what you ignore or belittle diminishes. Recognition is not flattery. Recognition is spiritual alignment. To recognize means to say, I see you, I acknowledge you, I bless you, I welcome you. Think of a guest who comes to your door. If you open the door and smile, they gladly enter. If you ignore them, they may hesitate. If you scowl at them, they may never come again. Money works the same way. When money comes into your hands, do you frown because it is too little? Do you call it not enough? If so, you are dishonoring it, and by dishonoring it, you push it away. But if you smile at it, bless it, and honor it no matter how small, you open the door for more to come. The law of recognition is so powerful that it shapes your entire reality. Think of your own life. The friends you kept close are the ones you recognized, the ones you gave attention to, the ones you honored. The relationships that faded are the ones you ignored, the ones you failed to value. Recognition builds intimacy, and intimacy brings increase. In the same way, if you treat money as a stranger, if you fail to greet it, bless it, and call it by name, it will act like a stranger, distant, unfamiliar, hard to find. But when you honor money as a divine servant of good, it comes closer and closer, until it feels like a trusted companion that never leaves your side. Let me remind you, the law of recognition is not only about large moments. It is about the small, everyday acknowledgments that slowly compound into abundance. When you find a coin on the street, do not say, "It's only a coin." Bend down, pick it up, and bless it. Say, "Money is always finding me," in small and great ways. When someone pays you for your work, do not say, "It's not enough." Say, "I recognize this flow of money as a symbol of greater flows yet to come." When you pay a bill, do not sigh with resentment. Instead say, "I recognize this bill as proof that I am trusted, that I am provided for, and that more supply is on its way." Recognition transforms every transaction into a sacred act of abundance. There are people who treat money with suspicion, as though it were unspiritual, as though it were corrupting. They say, money is not important, while secretly craving it. They pretend to rise above it while constantly struggling with lack. This is a failure of recognition. For how can something serve you if you treat it as evil? How can something bless you if you call it a curse? You cannot attract what you refuse to honor. The wise understand money is not a god to be worshipped, but neither is it a demon to be feared. It is a tool, a servant, an obedient force that reflects your words and your recognition. Prosperity answers the voice of honor. Imagine standing in a field of flowers. If you walk past them and never notice, you gain nothing. But if you stop, breathe in their fragrance, and give thanks for their beauty, you leave with joy in your heart. Prosperity is like that field. If you walk through life ignoring the signs of abundance, life passes you by. But if you pause to recognize even the smallest seed of prosperity, that seed multiplies. Recognition is the water that makes the seed grow. Think of a musician playing in the street. Hundreds may pass by, but only a few stop to listen. Those few who stop, who recognize the beauty of the song, walk away enriched. The rest go on, blind to the gift before them. Life is constantly playing the music of prosperity, but only those who recognize it hear the tune. Only those who honor it receive its wealth. The law is the same: what you honor, you draw closer. Your words are the carriers of recognition. Every time you speak, you are either honoring or dishonoring money. When you say, I can't afford this, you dishonor. When you say, money never stays with me, you dishonor. When you say, I am broke, you dishonor. But when you say, money is my willing servant, you honor. When you say, money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways, you honor. When you say, I am always supplied, you honor. These words are not just empty sentences, they are acts of recognition that draw money closer and closer into your reality. Remember, recognition magnifies. Whatever you focus on with respect expands. If you honor fear, fear expands. If you honor lack, lack multiplies. But if you honor money as an ally, money increases. If you honor prosperity as your birthright, prosperity accelerates. The universe is always listening. It does not send you what you want only. It sends you what you honor. There are countless stories of people who unlocked wealth simply by changing their recognition. A woman who once cursed every bill she received began blessing them instead. She said over each one, I bless this bill and the money that comes to pay it. Soon, unexpected checks began arriving, and her bills were not only paid but paid ahead. Another man who used to complain about his small salary began to bless every paycheck, no matter how modest. He would hold it in his hands and say, I recognize this as a symbol of my increasing wealth. Within months, he was offered a new position that doubled his income. Nothing mystical, only the law of recognition in action. The law does not fail. It is precise. You cannot sow dishonor and reap abundance. You cannot despise money and attract it at the same time. You cannot call yourself broke and expect riches to answer. But when you honor money, when you recognize it, bless it, welcome it, you create a magnetic pull that no resistance can stop. Let me urge you today, begin practicing recognition in every area of your financial life. When you see money, speak well of it. When you hear of someone else's success, honor it instead of envying it. When you pay for something, bless the money going out, knowing it returns multiplied. When you receive even the smallest coin, treat it with respect. This simple practice unlocks the door to continuous prosperity, and do not stop with money alone. Recognition works with opportunities, with relationships, with health, with every form of abundance. What you recognize and honor, you draw closer. What you ignore, you lose. What you despise, you repel. If you want prosperity to fill your life, then honor it wherever you see it. Big or small, in yourself or in others, today and every day. The law of recognition governs prosperity. What you honor, you draw closer. Speak it, believe it, live it, and you will never walk in lack again. For prosperity is not waiting in some distant future, it is standing at your door, waiting for you to open, smile and say, I see you, I honor you, you are welcome here. Money is one of the most misunderstood forces in the human journey. People fight over it, cry over it, chase after it, and in their frustration, they surrender to the idea that money controls life. But here lies the hidden error: money is not the master. Money is not the one giving orders. Money is not the ruler of destiny. Money is a servant, and like every servant, it awaits the voice of command. The tragedy is that many never step into the authority to command, so they live as though enslaved by the very thing meant to serve them. Think about this: when you see money only as master, you bow to it. You fear it, you run after it. You feel smaller in its presence. But when you see money as servant, the dynamic changes. You rise in authority, and money follows your direction. That is why the rare souls who learn this truth stand differently in the world. They don't panic when a bill arrives. They don't shrink when opportunity looks costly. They don't weep when the bank account seems low. Instead, they speak, they command, they declare, and money obeys. The world has conditioned people to see money as all-powerful. It is taught that if you don't have it, you are weak. If you do have it, you are strong. And if you want more of it, you must sacrifice yourself to chase it down. But this is the illusion. The truth is that money is neutral, like a tool, like electricity, like a river waiting to be directed. It carries no will of its own until you give it instructions. And when you understand this, you stop being a slave to numbers and start becoming the one who directs where they flow. Money is like fire. Left uncontrolled, it can burn, destroy, and consume. But when directed, it warms, it lights, it cooks, it empowers. A master of fire is not its slave, he commands it. The same with money. It is not to be feared, nor worshipped, nor chased, but to be commanded with wisdom and purpose. Money obeys voice, and it obeys belief. Now here's where many stumble. They think commanding money means arrogance, shouting into the air, or making wild demands without faith. That is not command, that is noise. True command flows from alignment with spiritual law. When you command money, you are not commanding it to do evil, nor to serve selfishness. You are commanding it to fulfill the higher order of provision, of abundance, of circulation. You are calling money to its rightful place as servant of good. Imagine a king sitting on his throne. Around him stand servants waiting for instruction. If the king sits silently, the servants are idle. If the king speaks with hesitation, the servants are confused. But if the king speaks with clarity, authority, and certainty, the servants move at once to fulfill his word. That is money. It waits, it listens, It stands at the edge of your life, ready to move. But until you speak, until you command, until you direct, money cannot serve you. People who live in lack are often those who never give money an assignment. They worry about bills, but never tell money, go pay this bill in full. They dream of opportunity, but never declare, money, arrive to fund this vision. They fear expenses, but never command money, show up in the perfect way to cover this need. They sit in silence or worse. They curse money, call it never enough, call it hard, call it dirty, and then they wonder why money flees. Servants do not stay where they are despised. But when you bless money, when you command it with dignity and purpose, it serves you faithfully. Say to money, you are welcome in my life. You are my servant, not my master. You move at my word, and you fulfill the good that is required. Watch what happens. It begins to flow in unexpected ways. Through gifts, through opportunities, through open doors, through ideas, through channels you could not plan. Money hears, money obeys. The shift begins in language. Too often, people make money their master in the words they speak. I can't afford it. That is slavery. I'll never get ahead. That is surrender. Money controls everything. That is bondage. Each phrase hands power to money as master. But when you flip the script and declare, money, you obey me, you serve my purpose, you show up when I call, you reposition yourself in alignment with truth. Words are not casual. They are commands and money responds to them. You might say, but I tried to speak to money, and nothing happened. Then I ask, did you speak as a king or as a beggar? Did you declare with authority or with doubt? Did you command as one aligned with divine law, or did you mutter as one hoping without faith? Servants do not obey hesitancy. They obey clarity. They obey certainty. They obey conviction. Consider the farmer. He does not plead with the soil to give harvest. He commands the ground by planting seed. He commands the rain by preparing his field. He commands the cycle by standing in expectation. He knows the soil is servant, not master. Money is no different. Plant the seed of command, water it with faith, and stand expecting harvest. Money must obey. Another mistake people make is believing money chooses who to favor. They think some are destined for wealth and others for lack. But money has no preference. It has no favorites. It is impartial, responding only to voice and authority. The one who knows money is servant commands it, and it obeys. The one who fears money as master avoids it, and it withdraws. The difference is not destiny, it is recognition. Let me tell you a story. A woman once lived constantly behind on bills, feeling like money mocked her. Every month she said, I can't keep up. Money always runs away from me. She believed money ruled her life. But one day she heard the truth, that money is servant, not master. She changed her words. She began to say, money, you serve me now, you arrive on time. You cover every need, you stay and you multiply. At first it felt strange, but she kept declaring it. Within months, unexpected checks arrived, opportunities unfolded, debts cleared, and for the first time, she felt money moving at her word instead of her chasing it. She had shifted position, from servant to master, and money obeyed. Your life changes when you see money in its rightful place. Do not fear it. Do not worship it. Do not chase it. Command it. Speak to it. Give it assignment. Direct it to good use. Declare that it serves your highest calling, your family, your purpose, your community, and it will obey. There will be moments when circumstances try to intimidate you, when the account looks empty, when expenses rise, when the voice of fear whispers, money is gone, you are finished. That is the moment to rise in authority and declare the keynote truth. Money is my servant, not my master. Money obeys the voice of my command. It flows to me now in perfect ways for perfect good. Hold that position. Stand in that authority. Refuse to bow to fear. The servant must obey. This is the rare prosperity secret. Few discover it, because many are too conditioned to bow before money. But the ones who see clearly, the ones who know their authority, the ones who speak with command, walk in a different reality. They do not live chasing coins. They live directing currents. They do not live crying over lack. They live multiplying supply. They do not live mastered by money. They live served by it. So I tell you today, open your mouth, find your authority, and summon money by command. Do not whisper in fear. Do not complain in lack. Speak with faith. Speak with certainty. Speak with dignity. Money will obey, because money is nothing more and nothing less than a servant waiting for your word. There are truths about life that only a few dare to embrace, and one of the rarest secrets is this: money must be summoned by name. This secret has been whispered through time, hidden in plain sight, yet overlooked by those who complain of lack, poverty, and struggle. People think money is something to be chased, something far away, something locked in the hands of others. But in reality, money is not distant. Money, it is listening. It is waiting to be called. And until you understand that you must summon it by name, you will live as if riches are strangers instead of companions. Money responds to recognition. It is not a lifeless object, nor a pile of numbers written on a bank statement. It is not as cold as people imagine. Money is energy, vibration, flow. And like all living energies, it answers to the voice that knows how to call it. If you ignore it, resist it, curse it, or call it by names of fear, it will turn away. If you bless it, invite it, honor it, and summon it with confidence, it will rush into your life as a faithful servant. Words carry power. The world was created by words. Light came because it was spoken into being. Names were given so that things could be commanded, called, and directed. And so it is with prosperity. If you wish to draw it, you must speak it. If you wish to live in wealth, you must declare it. What is unnamed cannot be summoned. What is unspoken cannot arrive. You cannot whisper doubt and expect faith's results. You cannot stay silent about prosperity and then wonder why lack follows you. Every word you release is a seed planted in the soil of spiritual law. Most people treat money as a hostile stranger. They think of it with resentment, calling it the problem, the burden, or the thing that is never enough. And yet they wonder why it avoids them. Can a friend stay in the house where it is cursed? Can a guest enjoy the table where it is unwelcome? Neither can money. If you scorn it, it will keep its distance. But if you treat it as a willing ally, if you see it as a tool to bless your life and the lives of others, then it will move toward you as naturally as water flows downhill. Complaints repel money. Blessings attract it. When you groan at your bills, you push away the very energy that could pay them. When you say, "I am always broke," you are commanding money to avoid you. When you say, "Money never stays with me," you are pushing away its loyalty. Every complaint is a repellent. Every blessing is a magnet. Imagine this: if you said to a friend, "You never show up for me, you always abandon me, you never stay." How long would that friend remain? But if you said, "I am so glad you are here, I honor your presence, I welcome you," that friend would keep coming back. Money works the same way. This is why summoning money by name is not greed, it is not sin, it is not selfishness, it is agreement with divine law. The law says ask and it is given, call and it answers. To call money is to respect its place as a servant. To summon it is to align your life with order instead of chaos. Greed is hoarding, fear-driven, clutching. Summoning is confident, calm, purposeful. It is declaring that money has a rightful place in your life, not to enslave you but to serve you. The law of recognition governs prosperity. What you recognize, you magnetize. What you ignore, you lose. When you honor money as a tool for good, it comes. When you curse it as evil, it departs. Recognition opens the door, and dishonor closes it. There are people who have riches yet live in anxiety because they do not honor money's role, they fear losing it. And there are those who live with less yet never run dry because they treat every coin, every note, every flow of provision with honor and blessing. Recognition is the difference between the open hand and the closed fist. Money is not a master, it was never meant to rule you. It is a servant, it is not your owner, it is your tool. But like any servant, it waits for instructions. It does not assume, it listens. If you give no command, it remains idle. If you give a confused command, it wanders. If you give a bold, clear command, it moves exactly as you say. Too many people allow money to command them, shaping their moods, dictating their choices, even controlling their dreams. But when you stand in authority, when you say, "Money, serve me in this purpose, arrive for this cause, move in this way," then money becomes your instrument instead of your master. Bills and debts should be spoken over with authority, not with fear. Most people see a bill and sigh, saying, "Another weight. Another thing I cannot afford." But the wise look at a bill and say, "Money, show up for this. Be here on time, in full, with ease." The bill is not your enemy. It is proof that the universe trusts you with responsibility. Speak over it, summon the money that belongs to it, and watch the flow respond. A debt is not a sentence, it is an opportunity for provision to show its strength. Calling money forth requires confidence, not begging or chasing. Begging comes from lack. Chasing comes from fear. Both make money run farther away, but confidence makes it draw near. Think of a shepherd calling sheep. He does not beg them, he does not chase them. He simply calls, knowing they recognize his voice. So it is with money. When you say, "Money, come now," in perfect ways, you are not pleading, you are commanding. You are not chasing, you are attracting. You are not doubting, you are declaring. Confidence is the magnet. Fear is the repellent. Your tongue is a magnet. Every word you release sends out a vibration that pulls something back. Speak of lack, and lack answers. Speak of abundance, and abundance answers. Speak of fear, and fear multiplies. Speak of wealth, and wealth obeys. The tongue is not idle, it is the gatekeeper of your reality. Those who speak blessing over money find themselves surrounded by provision. Those who curse it find themselves continually in need. The tongue does not lie, it manifests whatever you command it to. Those who summon money boldly by name never walk in lack again. For once you understand that money is not your enemy, not your master, not your stranger, but your servant, you will never again live in fear of it. You will call it when you need it. You will bless it when it comes. You will direct it with authority, and you will let it serve its purpose in your life. You will never again complain about bills, because you will know that money flows to meet them. You will never again curse wealth, because you will know that wealth answers to the one who blesses it. This is the rare prosperity secret. Summon money by name. Not with fear, not with doubt, not with complaint, but with faith, confidence, and clarity. Speak to it as you would to a trusted ally. Invite it as you would a friend. Command it as you would a servant. Bless it as you would a gift, and you will see it come, not as a trickle, but as a river, not as a stranger, but as a companion, not as a burden, but as a blessing. For money was never against you. It was only waiting for you to call. There is a mystery about money that has been hidden from the masses for generations, a secret so rare that when it is spoken aloud, many dismiss it because it feels too simple. Yet simplicity is the language of truth, and truth never hides from the ones willing to see. The secret is this: money responds to recognition, and until you learn to summon money by name, you will continue to treat it as if it were a stranger, distant and unreachable. But once you awaken to this secret, you will understand that money is not a cold number in a ledger, not lifeless paper, and not an enemy to be feared. It is energy, movement, vibration. It listens, it answers, and it flows. Every force in the universe responds to recognition. Think of how creation itself began. Light did not appear until it was spoken into being. Order did not arise until it was declared. The mountains, the seas, the stars, and the seasons, all were called forth by word. The spoken command bridged the unseen and the seen, the invisible and the visible. If creation itself was summoned by voice, how much more should money, a simple servant in the grand design, obey the same law? This is why I say with urgency you must summon money by name. You must give it permission to arrive. You must speak it into your life. Most people never do this. They whisper about money with complaint. They groan about how hard it is to get. They treat it as if it were cruel, stubborn, or absent. But when you treat money like a hostile enemy, why should it draw near to you? If you call it scarce, it hides. If you call it difficult, it resists. If you say it never comes, it obeys your declaration. The universe always agrees with your words. That is the great irony. People curse money, and then wonder why it does not come. They speak lack, and then complain about lack. They declare, never enough, and then live inside that very sentence. But those who understand the secret know differently. They see that money is not hostile, not indifferent, and not far away. Money is like a friend waiting outside the door. It stands patiently until you say, come in. It lingers until you declare, you are welcome here. It does not force itself, it does not intrude. It respects the law of recognition. And here lies the power. You can summon money at will, for it is simply waiting for your call. This is not superstition. This is law. The law of recognition says what you acknowledge, you attract. What you summon, you release. What you declare, you command. When you say, money, come to me now, in perfect ways, you are not begging. You are aligning. You are not grasping. You are commanding. You are not hoping. You are declaring. You are giving the energy of money an assignment. And energy always obeys the voice of command. People fail because they refuse to speak. They dream of wealth but never call it. They long for abundance but never name it. They chase prosperity but never summon it. Imagine trying to call a friend without speaking their name. Imagine expecting a guest to arrive without inviting them. It would be absurd, yet this is how people treat money. They want it, but they do not welcome it. They need it, but they do not summon it. They complain about it, but they do not bless it. And what is not blessed cannot multiply. When you summon money by name, something shifts inside of you. Your words create permission, your voice creates alignment, and your vibration changes. Instead of speaking from desperation, you speak from authority. Instead of confessing lack, you declare supply, and money being energy responds instantly to the command of recognition. The shift may first happen in unseen ways, a new idea, a fresh opportunity, an unexpected connection. But soon it takes form, because what is spoken with faith always seeks manifestation. You may ask, is it right to call money so boldly? Is it not material, worldly, even shallow? No. To summon money is not greed, it is agreement with divine law. Greed clings but faith commands. Greed hoards but recognition blesses. Greed chases but divine order attracts. Money is not evil, it is neutral. A tool, a servant. The misuse of it is the problem, but the presence of it is a blessing. A hammer is not evil, yet in wrong hands it destroys. Money is the same, it magnifies the intention of the one who holds it. But when summoned with clarity, it does not corrupt, it serves. Think about it, money is nothing until it is put to work. It can build schools, feed families, heal the sick, advance dreams, or bless the world. It can also destroy when placed in the wrong hands. But money itself is simply energy waiting for assignment, and those who summon it by name are those who learn to assign it properly. They say, money, you are here to serve good. You are here to bring peace. You are here to unlock possibility. That is the true meaning of recognition, not just calling money for selfish gain, but summoning it into alignment with purpose. This is why the law of recognition is so rare. Most treat money as taboo, whispering about it as if it were unholy. They are ashamed to speak its name. They want prosperity but refuse to call it. They dream of freedom but choke on the word, money. Yet you cannot receive what you will not summon. You cannot attract what you will not recognize. You cannot receive from a servant you refuse to command. The wise do not hesitate. They stand in authority. They speak boldly. They say, money, you are my servant. You belong in my life. You appear now, in perfect ways with perfect timing. They call it clearly and it comes. They bless it when it arrives and it multiplies. They direct it with clarity and it obeys. Money is never confused. It simply follows the voice of the one who calls it. And here lies the deeper secret. Vagueness is the enemy of prosperity. If you summon without clarity, you receive without clarity. If you call for more money, you may find a coin on the street and call it answered prayer. But when you name specifically what you desire, a debt cleared, an opportunity funded, a house purchased, a door opened, you give money an assignment and it obeys with precision. The universe does not respond to confusion, it responds to command. So do not speak vaguely, do not hope loosely, do not ask weakly. Instead declare with precision. Say, money, you appear now for this business idea. Money, you arrive to release me into freedom. Money, you flow now to fulfill this vision. Clear words summon clear answers. Authority produces exact manifestation. There is one more truth: summoning money requires confidence, not fear. The timid voice carries no weight in the spiritual realm. Begging produces nothing. Pleading releases nothing. Chasing exhausts but never attracts. Only confidence commands. Only clarity summons. Only authority releases. You must speak as one who knows, not as one who doubts. The universe does not respond to hesitation, it responds to faith. And so I tell you today, your tongue is a magnet. Your words are keys. Your declarations are bridges between thought and manifestation. Every time you summon money by name, you are turning the key, opening the door, releasing the flow. Those who dare to speak it boldly, clearly, confidently are those who see it arrive in ways that surprise and delight. This is the rare prosperity secret: to summon money by name. Few will ever believe it, and fewer still will ever practice it. But those who do, those who call it boldly, those who welcome it openly, those who command it with clarity, are those who never walk in lack again. Their lives become rivers of supply. Their homes become centers of blessing. Their work becomes channels of abundance. For they understand the law of recognition. Money responds to the one who dares to summon it. So today begin. Open your mouth, speak the name of money with authority. Declare it as your servant, summon it into your life. Align it with your purpose, and never again speak lack, for lack is only the absence of command. Instead, speak abundance, and abundance will always answer. Confidence is the language of prosperity, and it is the only tone money understands. When you summon money, you must do so with the assurance of a king calling for his servant, not with the trembling voice of a beggar pleading for crumbs. Begging belongs to the powerless, confidence belongs to those who know their inheritance. To call money forth is to speak with authority, to declare that it is already yours, waiting to enter your life, and that its arrival is a certainty, not a gamble. The universe is structured in such a way that everything vibrates to the sound of faith. Faith does not whisper in uncertainty, it speaks boldly, clearly, and without hesitation. The person who says, I hope money might come, is already telling money to remain distant. But the one who declares, money comes to me now in perfect ways, has already opened the invisible gates through which prosperity flows. Most people never rise to this place of confidence, because they have been trained since childhood to believe that asking for money is shameful, that desiring it is selfish, or that money belongs only to a chosen few. These beliefs create beggars. They cause people to approach life with the energy of lack, of inferiority, of unworthiness. And yet, when you truly understand the design of divine law, you discover that money was never created to be hoarded by the few or withheld from the worthy. Money is energy in motion, waiting for a direction. It responds not to desperation, but to certainty. Desperation pushes it away. Certainty draws it closer. The more you feel lack, the more lack multiplies. The more you feel wealth within, the more wealth surrounds you without. Calling money forth is not a matter of chance, it is a matter of alignment. You align by words, by feelings, by posture, by tone. Have you noticed how people can say the same words, yet one voice is ignored while the other commands attention? It is not merely the sentence but the vibration behind it. You can say, money come to me. But if your inner world trembles with doubt, fear, or apology, money senses that and stays away. But when you speak with the calm authority of one who knows, money responds. It is drawn to your certainty because confidence is proof of faith, and faith is the magnet that pulls unseen supply into visible form. Imagine standing before a door that is already yours to open. Would you knock timidly, hoping that someone might notice you? Or would you turn the key with assurance, knowing that what lies inside belongs to you by right? This is the difference between begging for money and commanding it. The beggar sees the door as belonging to someone else, so he waits for permission. The confident one sees the door as his own, so he steps through it. Money was never designed to be someone else's possession you must borrow. It was designed to circulate, to serve, to move where it is welcomed and claimed. Consider how nature operates. The sun does not beg permission to shine, rivers do not apologize for flowing. The tree does not hesitate to stretch its branches wide and bear fruit. They do not chase or plead, they simply exist in confidence of their role. If the universe itself moves in confidence, how much more should you, as one aligned with its laws, speak confidently to the resources that serve you? Money is simply one expression of that universal flow. To call it timidly is to deny your place in the order of creation. To call it boldly is to recognize that you are not outside of divine abundance but inside it. One of the greatest mistakes people make is thinking they must chase money. They run after jobs they hate, force opportunities that drain them, and exhaust themselves in the name of survival. But chasing is the act of the fearful, not the faithful. Chasing says, I don't believe it will come unless I run it down. Confidence says, it is already coming. I need only prepare to receive it. You can spend your life chasing, or you can stand still in faith and let money chase you. When you summon with confidence, money becomes the pursuer, not you. This shift from begging to commanding, from chasing to attracting, requires a transformation in how you see yourself. You must stop viewing yourself as one who is outside of wealth trying to break in, and instead see yourself as one inside the kingdom of abundance who has the authority to call forth what belongs within that realm. If a king requires provision, he does not beg his subjects. He commands, and the command is fulfilled. You too are called to rule over your circumstances, not to be ruled by them. When you command money, you are not being arrogant, you are exercising dominion. Confidence, however, is not arrogance, it is rooted not in ego but in divine alignment. Arrogance says, I control everything by myself. Confidence says, I trust the higher law that governs all things. Arrogance makes demands without faith. Confidence makes declarations because of faith. When you summon money with arrogance, it slips away, because arrogance is hollow. But when you summon money with true confidence, it appears, because confidence is anchored in the certainty of spiritual law. There are those who will say, but I have tried affirmations, and nothing changed. The reason is not in the words but in the vibration. Repetition without confidence is like shouting into the wind, the sound scatters and returns empty. But a single confident declaration carries the weight of creation. The key is not how many times you say it, but how deeply you believe it. When you summon money with the conviction that it must come, the universe rearranges itself to honor your declaration. Confidence does not need to see immediate evidence, because confidence knows that the command has already set the answer in motion. Think of the farmer who plants seed. He does not beg the ground, please, I hope something grows. He does not chase the seed underground to see if it is working. He plants with confidence, knowing the law of harvest cannot fail. So too with money, you call it forth and leave the law to perform the rest. Your only task is to keep your words aligned with faith, not fear. The moment you beg, you uproot the seed. The moment you chase, you disturb the process. But when you call confidently and rest in trust, the harvest must appear. To live in this confidence, you must retrain your language. No more, I'm broke. No more, I can't afford this. No more, I hope something comes. These phrases belong to beggars, not commanders. Replace them with declarations. Money flows to me now. I always have more than enough. Money serves my highest good. Every bill I have is already paid. When you change your words, you change your vibration, and when you change your vibration, money has no choice but to appear. Confidence also requires gratitude. Gratitude is proof that you believe more is coming. The beggar waits to see before giving thanks. The confident one gives thanks before seeing, because he knows it is already on the way. Gratitude seals your command. It tells money, I believe in your arrival so much that I celebrate before you knock on the door. This energy of expectation accelerates the manifestation of provision. Some will argue that money is material and should not be spoken to. But what they miss is that money is a symbol of energy, and all energy responds to vibration. Just as plants respond to words of love, and water changes its form under positive declaration, money too is influenced by the energy of speech. To call it with confidence is to align your vibration with the flow of abundance that already exists. To call it with doubt is to block that flow. Understand this: money has no will of its own. It is not moral or immoral, kind or cruel. It simply obeys the voice of those who call it. The question is not whether money responds, but whether you are calling in weakness or in strength. If you call in weakness, you echo lack, and lack appears. If you call in strength, you echo abundance, and abundance appears. The rare prosperity secret, then, is not hidden in formulas or rituals but in the posture of your heart and the tone of your words. Say it once with unshakable confidence, and it carries more power than 1,000 pleas. You are not meant to plead with life, You are meant to declare to life. You are not meant to crawl after provision, you are meant to summon provision. So I challenge you today, shift the way you speak to money. The next time a bill arrives, do not sigh in despair. Hold it in your hand and say, money to cover this, come to me now. The next time you face a need, do not complain about lack. Stand tall and declare, the supply I require is already on its way. Speak not as a beggar, but as one who knows the law. And as you practice this, watch how money begins to respond. It may come through unexpected channels, through sudden opportunities, through gifts or promotions or ideas you never imagined. But come it must, because you have called it with the authority of confidence. Calling money forth requires confidence, not begging or chasing. To beg is to confess you do not believe. To chase is to confess you do not trust. But to declare with confidence is to prove you know the law and are aligned with it. And when you align with the law never fails. Speak today with confidence, live today with certainty, and summon money not as a stranger but as a faithful servant. For the one who calls boldly shall never walk in lack again. There is a rare prosperity secret that few ever dare to practice, and because of this, many live their entire lives in financial struggle, never realizing that the power to shift everything was already resting in their own breath. The secret is this: money must be summoned by name. Just as you would call a friend into your home, just as you would command a servant to bring you what you need, so must money be addressed, called forth and invited. It does not arrive to the timid, it does not flow to the confused, it does not move toward the one who curses it. It listens only to the one who recognizes it as a willing force, not a hostile enemy. Money responds to recognition. Think for a moment of how everything in this universe obeys the law of recognition. A seed does not awaken until it recognizes soil, water, and sunlight. A child does not grow confident until it recognizes the sound of love in a parent's voice. And in the same way, money remains dormant until it is recognized, honored, and summoned into visibility. If you speak of it as scarce, it will remain scarce. If you speak of it as difficult, it will become difficult. If you treat it as unwelcome, it will stay away. But the moment you call it by name and declare that it is wanted, needed, and received, it comes. Your words carry power. In the beginning of all things, creation was born through words. Light existed because it was declared. Life multiplied because it was spoken into existence. And this same principle of creation still governs the affairs of your finances. When you speak clearly, with conviction, you set invisible laws into motion that begin shaping the physical realm. To summon money by name is not a superstitious act, it is alignment with the original creative law of the universe. What is spoken becomes what is seen. But here is where so many fail: they never dare to speak directly to money. They avoid the word. They treat it as if it were shameful, as if desiring money makes them unspiritual or selfish. They hide from it, complain about it, whisper about how little they have, and then wonder why it never arrives in great measure. Money must be treated as a willing ally, not a hostile stranger. If you treat a friend with suspicion and rejection, that friend will eventually withdraw. If you treat money as an enemy, it will avoid you. But when you welcome it, honor it, and recognize it as a force designed to serve your life and your good, it draws closer and multiplies. Complaints about money repel it. Every time you groan over bills, you are pushing money further away. Every time you say, I never have enough, you are declaring a law that binds your finances in limitation. Every sigh of despair at the price of things, every careless statement of lack, builds an invisible wall that money cannot penetrate. But when you bless money, when you thank it for arriving, when you honor even the smallest coin as a symbol of increase, you send out a frequency that attracts more of the same. The energy of gratitude is magnetic, it expands whatever it touches. Bless your money, no matter how small, and it will multiply. Curse it, and it will vanish. This is why summoning money by name is not greed. It is agreement with divine law. You are not worshiping money when you call it forth. You are simply acknowledging that it is one of the many forms through which provision manifests. To ignore it is to deny the very channel designed to meet your needs. To command it is to step into alignment with the laws of abundance that govern all life. The divine has no issue with you being wealthy. Scarcity is not a virtue and lack is not holiness. Wealth, rightly aligned, is freedom, service, generosity, and joy. To summon money is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of faith that provision has already been established for you, and you need only call it into form. The law of recognition governs prosperity. What you honor, you draw closer. This law is universal. If you honor relationships, you attract deeper bonds. If you honor wisdom, you receive greater understanding. If you honor health, your body flourishes. And in the same way, if you honor money, if you see it as noble, useful, and purposeful, you will find that it runs toward you rather than away from you. Recognition is magnetic, it opens the door for increase. What you ignore, you lose. What you diminish, you repel. What you honor, you multiply. Money is a servant, not a master. The error of many is that they reverse this order. They bow to money, they chase it, they make it their god. But money was never designed to be a master. Its nature is to serve you, to fulfill assignments, to fund dreams, to create space for generosity. When you summon money by name, you must never do so with desperation, but with authority. Speak to it as you would to a faithful servant who is tasked with carrying out an order. Say to it, money, come into my life. Bring me the resources for this project. Appear now to cover this expense. Flow into my hands to bless others. Money listens to such commands because it was designed to serve. Vague wishing produces vague results. People say, I just want more money. But what does that mean? If you find a single coin on the ground, you have technically received more money, but not what you truly desire. This is why you must be clear. When you summon money by name, you must also summon the form, the amount, the purpose. Say, money, come into my life now in the amount needed to cover this rent. Or, money, flow to me for the down payment on this home. Be exact. Be specific. Because the laws of the universe respect clarity. Vague declarations bring scattered outcomes. Clear declarations bring precise manifestations. Bills and debts should be spoken over with authority, not fear. Most people look at bills with dread, saying, I can't pay this, or, this will destroy me. But when you speak that way, you are energizing the very condition you fear. Instead, take your bills in your hands and declare over them, money, you are here to cover this. Payment is made. This bill is already cleared. Speak life, not death, over your obligations. Speak prosperity, not defeat. The bill is not your enemy. It is a placeholder waiting for money to appear. Call the money by name and watch the situation transform. Calling money forth requires confidence, not begging or chasing. Begging is the posture of one who believes they have no power. Chasing is the act of one who believes money is running away. Neither posture aligns with truth. The truth is that money is waiting for you to command it. Confidence is the posture of one who knows the law works, who understands that provision is already theirs. When you summon money, speak with the authority of one who has already inherited it. Say, money, come to me now. Flow to me in perfect ways. Not as a plea, but as a decree. Your voice is the key to wealth's arrival. The universe does not respond to silence, it responds to sound. Thought alone holds power, but it is sound that seals the manifestation. When you summon money by name, you are using your own breath, your own vibration, to open a channel between the invisible and the visible. It is not about how loud you speak, it is about how sure you are when you speak. Quiet conviction carries more weight than loud doubt. Those who summon money boldly by name never walk in lack again. Why? Because they have discovered a timeless law. Once you experience the truth that money listens, you can never go back to ignorance. You begin to live differently. You stop fearing bills. You stop resenting expenses. You stop chasing opportunities in desperation. Instead, you move in confidence, knowing that money is your servant, your ally, your willing companion. You call it, and it comes. You bless it, and it multiplies. You direct it, and it obeys. So I say to you now, summon money by name. Do not be timid. Do not be ashamed. Do not be vague. Do not complain. Stand in authority, open your mouth, and declare, money, I call you now. Flow to me in abundance. Serve me in joy. Multiply in my life for good. And as you do this, watch how circumstances shift. Watch how opportunities appear. Watch how debts dissolve. Watch how prosperity begins to chase you, because you have finally recognized what most never do. Money is waiting for your command. The rare prosperity secret is not hidden in some faraway treasure chest. It is already in your breath, in your words, in your ability to summon by name. Few ever practice it. Fewer still practice it with faith. But those who do never walk in lack again. There is a hidden law about wealth that many people never discover, though it has been written across the very design of creation. It is the law of naming. The same way a parent names a child, the same way creation was spoken into existence, the same way identity is declared before destiny unfolds, so too must money be named, summoned, and called into being with certainty. This is the rare prosperity secret that separates those who endlessly chase money from those who magnetize it. You must summon money by name. When most people think of money, they think of it as a thing, coins, bills, numbers, digits on a screen. But money is far more than that. Money is a vibration, a flow, and energy responds to command. Energy listens to voice. Energy aligns with declaration. The tragedy of many lives is that they never understand this law. They wait for money instead of calling it. They whisper about it in fear instead of summoning it in faith. They complain about it instead of blessing it into appearance. Here lies the first truth: money responds to recognition. What you do not recognize will never answer you. If you see money only as a fleeting accident, you will experience it as fleeting. If you see it as a master that enslaves, you will serve it instead of commanding it. If you see it as an enemy, it will treat you like one. But if you recognize it as an obedient servant of divine law, if you see it as a friend that responds to your voice, then you give money permission to flow into your life. Recognition opens the door for reception. Words carry power beyond what most people understand. Every ancient truth tells us that words shape reality. What you refuse to say, you refuse to summon. What you name, you give authority to. When you say, money, come to me now in perfect ways, you are not playing with imagination. You are applying the law of declaration. It is impossible to manifest what you will not name. If you hide your desire behind silence, silence will answer you. But when you dare to speak it boldly, creation must respond, because words are the seeds of manifestation. The mistake many make is treating money as a hostile stranger, something they must either chase endlessly or avoid shamefully. They make money into a taboo topic, lowering their voices whenever it is mentioned. Yet how can something you fearfully whisper ever serve you with freedom? Imagine speaking about a trusted friend in the same way you speak about money, complaining about their absence, doubting their loyalty, resenting their presence. Would that friend ever want to stay near? Money is no different. It does not come to complainers, it comes to commanders. Complaints repel money, while blessings attract it. Think carefully about how you speak when the bills arrive. Most people groan, curse, and speak lack over their finances. But each complaint is a vibration that pushes provision further away. On the other hand, when you bless money, even in its smallest form, you magnetize its increase. When you hold a single coin and say, you are multiplying even now, you are summoning the flow. Gratitude and blessing act like keys that open the invisible vault of abundance. Every word of blessing is a magnet. Every word of complaint is a chain. Which one will you choose? And here is where many stumble. They think summoning money is an act of greed. But this is not greed, it is agreement with divine law. The law says, ask and you shall receive. Speak and it shall be done. If you can speak for healing, for peace, for love, then why not speak for provision? Money is not dirty. Money is not corrupt. Money is neutral. It takes on the nature of the hand that holds it. If you are good, then money in your hands multiplies goodness. If you are generous, then money in your hands multiplies generosity. Refusing to summon money is not humility, it is ignorance of law. What you honor, you draw closer. This is the law of recognition. Imagine walking into a room and being ignored. Would you stay long? Neither will money stay in the life of one who refuses to acknowledge it with honor. Honoring money does not mean worshiping it, it means respecting its role as a channel of good. It means treating even the smallest coin as a seed of more to come. It means ordering your words so that money knows it is welcome, expected, and commanded. Recognition is not worship, recognition is alignment. This brings us to another secret: money is a servant, not a master. The problem is not money. It is when people reverse the roles and bow to what was designed to bow to them. Money was made to follow your instructions. It is designed to serve divine order through you. But when you let money dictate your choices, when you let the lack of it decide your destiny, you have surrendered your authority. You must rise into the rightful position as commander. Speak to money as a servant, direct it with clarity. Assign it to its tasks. Declare, money, you will pay this bill. Money, you will open this door. Money, you will fund this vision. Speak with the voice of command, not the tone of begging. Vague wishing produces vague results. When you say, I just want more money, the universe could answer with a single coin, and your wish would technically be fulfilled. But when you summon with specificity, money, I call you forth in the exact amount needed to settle this account, or, money, appear now to fund this exact dream, you give the flow direction. A stream without a channel floods aimlessly, but a stream with a channel waters the land and produces fruit. Money is the same, it must be channeled by clarity. Many people collapse under the weight of bills and debts because they treat them as enemies. They stare at the numbers with fear, cursing them under their breath. Yet bills are only evidence of energy already received. They are not curses, they are records of exchange. Instead of cursing them, speak with authority. Lay your hand on the statement and declare, money, you are already here to settle this in full. Do not shrink in fear before a piece of paper. Stand in authority before the flow that answers your command. Calling money forth requires confidence, not chasing. Too many beg for money as if it were a cruel master withholding mercy. But money is not a tyrant, it is a servant awaiting command. Begging implies weakness. Command implies authority. Do not say, I hope money comes someday. Say, money, you are here now in perfect order. This is not arrogance. It is faith in law. Just as you do not beg for the sun to rise but declare it with certainty, so too must you declare the arrival of provision. The tongue is a magnet. Every word you speak pulls something into your world. Speak lack and lack will multiply. Speak abundance and abundance will appear. This is why your words about money matter. Every casual phrase plants a seed. When you say, I am always broke, you summon the spirit of lack. When you say, money flows to me easily, you summon provision. Your tongue is the steering wheel of your finances. Where your words go, your life follows. And finally, understand this: money cannot resist a bold command. It cannot ignore the voice that calls it by name with unwavering certainty. Those who summon money timidly may see fragments. Those who summon it boldly see rivers. The law is impartial. It does not favor one person over another. It only responds to faith expressed through words. The rare prosperity secret is not buried in books or hidden in vaults. It is on your tongue, waiting for you to use it. Speak with boldness, declare with faith, call it by name. And let this truth be sealed in your heart: those who summon money boldly by name never walk in lack again.